Hi, this morning we are doing the only problem that we have for the group of headaches. Okay, and let me review real quick. The page of the exercise is 212 in the book. The subject is headache, and this is the code for the theory. Okay, let's review real quick the theory. When you have a headache, there are 4 ways to type it. If it's just a headache, it's R51. If it's a complicated headache, it has some other conditions associated to the headache, then the category is G44. If it's migraine, it has to say migraine in the text, and the category is G43. And there are other instances when it's the result of other conditions, and it just starts with the letter G. Okay, now let's read the text for our present problem. The text says chronic, intractable, tension type headache. Okay, so this is a headache and it's a complicated headache. So from our table, the complicated headache is a headache plus. So our code has to be G44. It starts with G44 and it has some additional characters to it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to introduce a very easy way to identify the main condition and also the keywords in the text. The main condition here is headache, right? So we're going to circle headache. See? The circle with a red marker, and then we're going to isolate the word H to identify it, to use it later. So this is the headache. This is the main condition. Now, the other keywords, we're going to identify them with blue marker and with squares. Not circle, but squares, you see? It has corners there. So this is square, this is chronic, and it's also intractable, and it's tension type. We have those 3 keywords that modify headache. Okay? Now we're also going to isolate the first letter usually, C, I, and T, to identify them in the path. Right? So it's a headache that is chronic, intractable, and tension type. Now, the key to find the answer is to find a path that contains all of them, or most of them, right? Preferably all of them. So the first path that we did right here, we have it here. We go to the index, then we go to headache, and we go to our first keyword, chronic. And there's nothing more that we can do, and the code that we get there is R51. Right? This is not good because this is the first row. It's just for a headache. So we try again. The second path would be we go to the index, then we go to headache, then we go to the second keyword, intractable. And we don't find intractable. We don't find any code for that. So there's no code here. We try one more time. For the path 1B, we go to the index, we go to headache, we go to tension type. And there we find chronic, and there we find intractable. So this is the path that has all our keywords. And the code that we get next to it is this one. So all we have to do is confirm that in the tabular, that is our code, and then just check the answer with the book, and we found our code. Now Stephanie's going to do that. He's going to follow all the 3 paths. All right. So while Stephanie's getting the book ready, I'm going to get a shot of the first path that we're going to find. It says, go to index, go to headache, and go to chronic. And let's see what we find there. You ready?
Yep.
You start with?
Headache.
With headache. And then?
Then we go to chronic.
Chronic. And we find there chronic daily. It's a little more, one extra word, but that's the only thing we can find. And the code is R51, right?
Right.
There's nothing more than we can go from there. And R51, if we remember our theory, R51 is just a simple headache. Chronic, all it chronic means is that it's just several times, but it's just a headache. So that's R51. So that's why with this path we get R51, and then we're going to try the second path. The second path would be go to the index, go to headache, go to intractable, right? And let's see what we find there. Okay, start with headache, and then try to find intractable. Where would it be?
It would be after the H.
After the H, and it's not there, right?
Right.
From hip neck, it goes to lumbar puncture. There's no intractable. So that's why we have no code there. With this path, we have no code. Now, let's go to the third path, which we call it 1B. We're going to go to the index, then headache, then tension type, then chronic, and then intractable, and see if we can find that. Let's see. You go to headache, then
you go down to this column, and then you go to the next column.
And
then you go way down to find a T, tension
type, right?
Right.
And then
we go to chronic,
and then
we go to intractable.
That's the code, that's the path that we have that has all the keywords, right? And what is the code?
G44.221.
Okay, which is the code that we have here, right? With this path, we have G44.221. Now, Stephanie is just going to confirm that in the tabular. For the tabular, we start with G44. With the tabular, you always start with the first three characters, G44. So you go to G44, and what does it tell you?
G44. First, we go to G44.
Where is it?
Here,
right? Let me see. There you go. What's that?
Other headache syndromes.
Which is okay, right? Because when the headache is complicated, it's a headache syndrome, right? So let's keep going. The next code is 2. G44.2.
Tension type headache.
Which is one of our keywords. And then the next is 2 again, right?
Right.
Which is?
Chronic tension type headache.
We got the chronic. And then the last one is 1, which would be?
Would be chronic tension type headache intractable.
Which is exactly what the problem asks, right? All those keywords. So we found an answer. And then we just go to the book real quick to check and see if that's the correct answer. And it is G44.221. Okay? I'm going to finish this with an invitation for you to visit our website and to send us any comments that you have. Okay? Thank you.